In the darkest corners of Earth, hidden beneath moss and droplets of water, lives a creature that challenges our understanding of survival. This organism is older than humanity, older than many species that once ruled the planet. It has survived mass extinctions that erased entire ecosystems. And somehow it remained. Scientists call it the tardigrade. Many know it by another name, the water bear. A creature smaller than a grain of sand, yet stronger than environments designed to destroy life. Imagine temperatures colder than Antarctica, radiation powerful enough to kill humans instantly, pressure from the deepest oceans. The tardigrade survives them all. Its greatest ability is almost impossible to believe. When danger appears, it shuts itself down. Its metabolism approaches zero. Life pauses. This process is called cryptobiosis. Years may pass, decades may pass. Still it waits, then something changes. Moisture returns, cells awaken. Death loses its meaning. Scientists once exposed tardigrades directly to outer space. No atmosphere, no oxygen. Many survived. This raises terrifying questions. If life survives here, where else can life survive? Perhaps the universe is less empty than we believe. Humans admire strength. We admire speed. We admire intelligence. Nature admires survival. Perhaps survival does not belong to giants. Perhaps survival belongs to patience, to endurance. And somewhere beneath your feet, one tiny survivor continues waiting, waiting for conditions to change, waiting for time itself to move again. Because survival is not always about power. Sometimes survival belongs to those who can disappear, to those who endure, to those who remain invisible while worlds collapse around them. For hundreds of millions of years, life on Earth has followed one brutal rule: adapt or vanish. Entire species failed this test. The tardigrade did not. Long before human civilizations rose from dust, before empires formed, before languages existed, this microscopic survivor had already learned the art of persistence. Perhaps immortality was never about living forever. Perhaps immortality means surviving what destroys everything else. And if one creature hidden inside a drop of water can resist extinction, what else might survive beyond our world? What waits beneath frozen alien oceans? What sleeps beneath distant planets? The universe may be filled with survivors we have never seen, creatures waiting silently in darkness, just as the tardigrade waits, patient, unmoving, almost forgotten, yet still alive. Perhaps the greatest survivors in nature are not the loudest, not the strongest, not the fastest, but the ones capable of enduring silence, enduring destruction, enduring time. And somewhere right now, inside a patch of moss, inside a droplet invisible to human eyes, one ancient survivor continues its endless cycle, sleeping, waiting, awakening, and again, refusing to disappear, refusing extinction, refusing death itself. Scientists began asking a dangerous question. If a microscopic organism can survive space, what does that mean for life itself? Could life exist beyond Earth, hidden in forms we have not yet discovered? The tardigrade changed how we define survival. It is not strong in the traditional sense. It does not hunt. It does not fight. It simply endures. Even extinction events could not erase it completely. It waits through destruction and reappears when conditions return. This ability is not just survival. It is a biological reset, a pause between existence and non-existence. Scientists still cannot fully explain it. The genetic mechanism behind it remains partially unknown, but its existence is undeniable. It forces us to rethink life itself. Life may not be fragile. It may be far more persistent than we ever imagined. And somewhere in the unseen world, life continues its silent battle against extinction. Beyond what science currently understands, there may be deeper layers to survival. Not every form of life follows the rules we know. Some exist in states that blur the line between living and not living. The tardigrade may not be an exception. It may be a clue, a fragment of a much larger system hidden within nature. Scientists have begun to explore similar survival patterns in other microscopic organisms, but none match its extremes. This raises a difficult possibility. Perhaps life does not evolve only toward complexity. Perhaps it also evolves toward persistence, toward resistance against time itself. If this is true, then extinction is not an ending. It is only a transition, a shift in form, not in existence. Some theories suggest that life on Earth may have originated under extreme conditions. Conditions similar to those the tardigrade can survive today. This means survival may not be an adaptation. It may be the original blueprint of life, a hidden code embedded at the beginning of biology itself. And if that code exists here, it may exist elsewhere, on planets we have never seen clearly, beneath oceans we have not yet touched, inside environments we once believed were impossible for life. The universe becomes less empty the more we understand survival, but also more mysterious, because every answer reveals deeper questions, and the tardigrade remains at the center of one of them, a silent witness to conditions that erase everything else, unmoving, unchanging, almost forgotten by time itself, yet still here, still alive, still waiting. As humanity continues to expand its understanding of biology and the universe, we slowly begin to realize that life is not simply something that appears once and then follows a predictable path, but instead a deeply complex system that adapts, hides, and transforms in ways we are only beginning to recognize. The tardigrade, in this context, is not just a strange microscopic organism that happens to survive extreme conditions, but rather a living example of how far life can bend before it breaks, and even more importantly, how it can refuse to break at all. When scientists observe it under controlled environments, exposing it to radiation, freezing temperatures, and complete absence of oxygen, what they witness is not a fragile creature struggling against impossible odds, but something far more unsettling, a biological system that simply shuts down, waits, and then returns as if time itself never mattered. This behavior forces researchers to question whether life should even be defined by continuous activity, or whether existence can still be considered valid even in complete biological silence, where no heartbeat, no movement, and no metabolic activity can be detected. If that idea is accepted, then the boundary between life and death becomes far less absolute than we once believed, turning what we considered to be a final ending into something closer to a reversible state that depends entirely on environmental conditions. In the same way, some scientists begin to suggest that what we call death in nature may often be misunderstood, not as a true ending, but as a temporary collapse of observable function, waiting for the right conditions to reassemble what was never truly destroyed. This perspective completely changes how we interpret survival, because survival is no longer just about resisting threats in real time, but about existing in a form that can outlast even the destruction of the environment itself. The tardigrade becomes a symbol of this idea, representing a form of life that does not compete in the traditional sense, does not dominate its ecosystem, and does not rely on speed or strength, but instead relies on absolute biological patience that can stretch across time beyond human comprehension. And if such a mechanism exists in even one organism on Earth, then it raises a much larger question about whether this is an isolated anomaly or a hidden principle that exists throughout nature at different scales, waiting to be discovered. Because once you accept that life can pause without ending, you are forced to reconsider everything, from the origin of biological systems to the possibility that life itself may be far more durable and far more widespread than any model we currently use can explain. In that sense, the tardigrade is not the end of the story, but the beginning of a deeper investigation into what it truly means for something to exist, persist, and return after what appears to be absolute disappearance. And somewhere within that realization, science is no longer just studying a creature, but is instead facing a mirror that reflects its own limitations in understanding the true architecture of life.